I myself am my own greatest asset. I'm my own greatest investment. The more I can learn and make my journey easier and more fluid as an entrepreneur, the more it's going to benefit me.
You work hard in your business. On the Profit by Design podcast, we ask the big question. What has your business done for you lately? Hi, I'm Dr. Sabrina Starling. I'm the business psychologist, the author of the 4-Week Vacation and the How to Hire the Best series, as well as the founder of Tap the Potential, where we coach entrepreneurs like you to design sustainably profitable businesses that give you more time for what matters most and more money in your bank account than ever. Because after all, we believe work supports life, not the other way around. Weekly on the Profit by Design podcast, we bring you tips, tools, and strategies from our own experiences and from the experiences of our guests who are entrepreneurial thought leaders and real life entrepreneurs, all to support you in making intentionally profitable and sustainable business decisions to live the lifestyle you desire.
Happy New Year! It is 2023, and for those of you who have been following along in our strategic planning series here on the podcast, I want to congratulate you because you have taken significant steps over the last few weeks to really set yourself up to be more profitable and have a higher quality of life in 2023. What we're getting into today is all about designing your business to be profitable in the year ahead. And I want to invite you to think about what you need to have happen in your business financially for not just you, but also for your team members to be thriving in the year ahead. So when we're talking about designing our businesses so that we thrive, that's very different than focusing on breaking even. When we use the word thrive, I want you to think about what thrive means to you. There's a lot of things that we business owners tend to forget to budget for in our businesses. And I want you to put aside limitations right now, any financial limitations that you place on your business. And we're going to look at that in a little bit. But for now, I really want you to think about what's possible and really allow yourself to dream and think about what thriving for you and your team members means in 2023. What needs to be happening financially in the business. So some areas that business owners tend to neglect when we focus on breaking even is we forget to think about having really good health insurance for ourselves and possibly our team members. We forget to think about retirement savings and planning for retirement. We don't think about having resources available in the business for life insurance or incentive programs for team members or bonuses or raises that you're going to give your team when they hit a certain profit target. Another area that we tend to forget to think about when we think about just surviving and breaking even, we tend to forget about creating the opportunity for yourself and for your team members to have ongoing coaching and training. So this allows you to have it be easier for you and simpler for you. When you're not taking part in coaching and training yourself, or and your team isn't taking part in coaching and training, the company and you are stagnating and you're staying stuck in the problems that you have. And if you're noticing that some of the challenges and problems that you've been dealing with are some of the same challenges and problems that you've dealt with over the course of a few years, there's a good chance that you need to get coaching so that you can get some outside perspective on dealing with those issues. Oftentimes, we're circling the drain in our own thinking, dealing with the same problems over and over. And what's going on is that there's a deeper level symptom that usually can be addressed with better strategy, but we don't see it because we're just cycling those problems over and over in our head. I also want you to think about, and as part of thriving, having the ability in your business to hire A players and being able to afford A players in the business. One of the things that comes up a lot when I'm teaching how to hire the best is that business owners feel like, I know I need to hire A players, but I can't afford to pay and compete with larger companies in the salaries and wages that they're paying. And what I want to say to you on that is, don't give up. In our Better Business, Better Life Jumpstart, which I'm teaching in just a couple of weeks, I walk you through the Tap the Potential solution over the course of those 5 days together. And I will show you how you can utilize the Tap the Potential solution to create more margin in your business so that you can afford to hire those A players onto your team. The Jumpstart is kicking off Monday, January 16th. I encourage you to get signed up for this. This is a free event. It's 5 days of closed-door training with me as I take you through the implementation of the Tap the Potential solution in your business. This is high-level strategy that will start to give you a lot of the how to make your vision a reality in 2023. So head on over to tapthepotential.com/jumpstart. So another area that's often overlooked by business owners when you're thinking about surviving and breaking even, you're failing to think about building in the margin, both the financial money margin, but also the time margin for team building activities to occur. So maybe that's a retreat with your team members in the year ahead, or maybe it's a monthly dinner or some fun gathering that you're doing on a monthly or quarterly basis with your team. And you want to have space in your budget, money in your budget for that to happen, but also time for that to happen. And as I'm laying all this out for you, I know you're probably thinking, well, there's no way we can cover all these expenses, Dr. Sabrina. We're barely breaking even right now. So again, that's why you want to be in the Jumpstart, because in the Jumpstart, I show you that you have hidden profit in your business and there's plenty of opportunities to recapture that hidden profit in your business so that you can put it in better places in your business where you're going to get a better return on your investment. And that includes coaching and training for yourself, developing yourself, and also developing your team. On the second to last page of your Strategic Planning Workbook, you will find the Profit First Target Allocation Percentages. This is a very handy tool to help you identify the profit potential in your business that currently exists, and you may not be aware of it because you're so focused on just breaking even. So what you're seeing in figure 1 are the target allocation percentages for businesses that are healthy. This is a guideline for you to follow to target being able to put a percentage aside from all the revenue that comes in your business toward these different accounts. So you would have a profit account, an owner's pay account, a tax account, and an operating expense account. And for those of you who are unfamiliar with Profit First, be sure to check out the book Profit First by Mike Michalowicz. I know many of you who are listening have been implementing Profit First, possibly on your own for quite some time. And if you are not hitting these target allocation percentages, that's a very common experience. And that's why I created the Tap the Potential solution, because I realized that it's not just enough to put Profit First in place and get these accounts set up. We have to streamline other aspects of the business for you to be able to capture the profit and owner's pay that you deserve. So you may not be putting 10% or 15% away towards profit. But the idea here is we're going to think about hitting these targets and how to hit these targets in the year ahead. So let's just say for simple math that your business revenue is $500,000. So you're in column B and you're putting 10% of that revenue aside as it comes in and you're moving it into your profit account. So that at the end of the year, that's going to be $50,000 in your profit account. And then 35% of your revenue goes into your owner's pay account. So that would mean paying yourself $175,000. And then you'd be setting aside 15% for taxes. And I will say that in most situations, 15% is a very generous amount. We have a lot of people implementing Profit First who have lower tax percentages, and they're applying the rest of that tax percentage in other parts of the business, whether it's to profit, owner's pay, or operating expenses. But just for the sake of this example and keeping everything simple, we're going to say you're putting 15% aside for tax, and you're able to put aside 40% for operating expenses, which means you have about $200,000 that you're running the business on. So as I talk to you about thriving, and I say you want to be thinking about health insurance and life insurance and retirement savings and college savings if you have kids. You want to be investing in your own coaching and development, growing your team. And you might be thinking, well, where does this money come from, Dr. Sabrina? Well, when you have Profit First in place, you have money going into your owner's pay account, and some of that can be used for these different benefits. So consider those as owner benefits of the business. And when you work in the corporate world, you get a benefits package. Well, as entrepreneurs, we don't get benefits packages unless we create them for ourselves. And so this is your opportunity to really look at and recognize, hey, you're the number one chief A player in the business. You need a benefits package. And maybe you think in your head, you've been living on less than $100,000 for so long now, you can't imagine what it would be like to live on $175,000. Well, when you start thinking about all the other benefits that you could be providing to you as the owner, then all of a sudden you can see where that $175,000 might go. Maybe you're sending your kids to college. Maybe you've only got 6 years left to save for the first one that goes off to college. That is why it's so important that you have the owner's pay at this level in your business. And another thing to consider, especially if you've been in business for a long time and you've struggled to be profitable, you've probably never paid yourself appropriately. So you have a lot of catch up to do with respect to retirement savings. And you never want your business to be your only retirement option. You want to have multiple eggs in your basket as you move towards retirement, including some way of investing so that you're building up retirement savings and investments in addition to your business being part of your retirement plan. So as you wrote about the experiences that you want to have in 2023, when you did the visioning exercise from last week, and you're thinking, well, where do I get all this money for travel and vacations and, taking family to dinner, whatever you came up with that's important to you, all of that can be a part of the compensation that comes from the owner's pay account. And one of the questions that we get asked a lot when people are investing in coaching is, where does that money come from in the business? And I'll tell you, there's no hard and fast rules, but I've been using Profit First for years now. In fact, I was the very first Profit First professional when Profit First Professionals was created by Mike Michalowicz. And I've been investing in coaching and training myself for years now. And I've pulled those funds from different places in the business at different times. And rarely does it come solely from operating expenses. So one place where I'll take revenue or funds for investing in my own coaching and training is from profit and owner's pay. And the reason I do that is that I know, number one, I myself am my own greatest asset. I'm my own greatest investment. The more I can learn and make my journey easier and more fluid as an entrepreneur, the more it's going to benefit me. And I also know this about myself. I will create a return on that investment, particularly when I'm investing in a high quality, high support coaching program like our Better Business, Better Life program at Tap the Potential that consistently produces results for clients who do the work. I know I'm the one who's going to show up and do the work. So I'm very good about appreciating that I can create a return on my investment. And that's something that you have to do an honest gut check with yourself on. Are you coachable? Are you going to show up and do the work? If you're not coachable, and if you're not going to show up and do the work, you're probably not going to get a return on investment in coaching. So save yourself that heartache. I also know, because I've been through the school of hard knocks, that when someone else can show me a better way, a more effective way, a way to be more strategic, I know it will save me a lot of pain and challenge in my business. So I'm happy to make that investment to just make my life and my journey easier. So I really, when I'm pulling it from my owner's pay account or profit, I'm really thinking about this as an investment in my quality of life as an entrepreneur. So when you're looking at coaching, you may be taking a portion of it from profit, from owner's pay, and sometimes from operating expenses. When we do team development at Tap the Potential, that would come from operating expenses. So anything that you're doing where you're investing in your team's development and it's a benefit to team members, I would say that really does need to come from the operating expense account, not owner's pay or profit. So if you're looking at the amount that you've set aside for operating expenses and you're saying, well, we're barely able to cover our basic operating expenses, much less team development or giving raises, One of the things that you really need to be looking at is, are you charging appropriately? Because so many business owners out there are not raising prices, and inflation is just happening constantly around us. And if you have not raised prices consistently year after year, you're already behind. But if you've only done one price increase and it was very modest, there's a good chance that you're still falling behind due to inflation. And what we really need to do is be getting ahead of inflation with your price increase. And so, you don't want to just raise prices for the sake of raising prices, because people are getting very sensitive to that. And now is the point where you have to be providing value in return for the increase in those prices. And so what I'll be walking you through in the Better Business, Better Life Jumpstart is how you can innovate to add value for your top clients, so that as you raise prices, their experience is, I will happily pay this amount because you are providing me so much value. This price increase is modest in relation to the value that I'm getting from the services you're providing me. So I'm going to be going into this in detail in the Better Business, Better Life Jumpstart starting Monday, January 16th. So if you're not signed up, head on over to tapthepotential.com/jumpstart. And I also want to say that if you hesitate to raise your prices because you feel like you'll lose business and that people are only choosing you because you have a competitive or a low price, or you're having to discount, it's a downward spiral for the business. It's a very destructive, scarcity, fear-based mindset. And if that's a struggle for you, I really encourage you to join us in the Jumpstart, because we can shift that scarcity mindset for you. And you'll start to see clear steps forward for how you can get out of scarcity mindset into abundance mindset through tangible actions that you're creating in your business to add value for your top clients. And the reason you need that margin is you also need to be able to offer good competitive wages and salaries for the A players on your team, and so that the business can keep growing. And as you look at raising prices in the year ahead, you need to think about, you're going to be adding team members, and that means adding platforms and growing your systems. And there's all kinds of hidden costs involved in that you need to be planning and creating margin for. So one of the really cool tools that you have at your disposal is Figure 2 in the Strategic Planning Workbook. And it's on that second to last page. And this is where you can calculate your actual percentages for profit, owner's pay, tax, and operating expenses. And you can look at the gap and you can see your current operating expenses. And if they're too high, then we can look at, how do you start to narrow that gap and bring them down? If your owner's pay is falling very short of the target allocation percentages, then you can see that there's a gap. And once you identify that there's a gap, that's really the first step, because then there's all kinds of strategy to narrow that gap. And a lot of times we'll have people who start working with us at Tap the Potential who have been implementing Profit First on their own, and they feel like the big takeaway from Profit First is to cut operating expenses. And yes, we at Tap the Potential are very good at helping you find ways to cut your operating expenses, especially after we've supported you in clarifying your sweet spot. However, you will not hit those target allocation percentages in Profit First solely through cutting expenses. You have to create the value for your top clients, and through innovating and creating margin and bringing on team members who are A players who also are creating value in the business. And that's what we specialize in teaching you how to do at Tap the Potential. And one of the reasons why I designed the Tap the Potential solution is I knew that business owners needed a clear order of what to do when and in which order to do it. Because if you hire before you have a clearly defined sweet spot, you can actually make your business very unprofitable very quickly, because you're bringing on team members and you're asking them to work with clients who need services that are outside the sweet spot of the business. And this honestly is where most businesses that grow their revenues start to lose efficiency and become less and less profitable as the years go by. So this is a critical time as you're looking at the business. You have sales coming in there's steady, consistent sales, and you're looking at adding more team members, this is a very critical time to be paying attention to the sweet spot of the business before you hire so that you don't lose any ground on your profitability. And I don't think any other coaching and training program teaches you the way to do that the way we do at Tap the Potential, because we have such a strong focus on how to hire A players. And so much of that is grounded in having a clear sweet spot in the business. So this concludes our strategic planning series for the new year, and you're not done, because the how-to make all of the vision that you've created happen is going to come through first in our Better Business, Better Life Jumpstart. And then when you move from the Jumpstart to joining our Better Business, Better Life program, that's where we can really support you in the how to execute all of this so that you have a very profitable 2023 and a year where you get to really enjoy your life. So head on over to tapthepotential.com/jumpstart and take those next steps with us. Thank you for spending time with us today. Join our conversation in the Entrepreneurs Take Your Life Back Facebook community at tapthepotential.com/group. Share your aha moments from today's episode, ask me questions, and join in on the fun with your fellow entrepreneurs on the journey to designing sustainably profitable businesses that give you more time for what matters most and more money in your bank account than ever. And finally, share today's episode with a friend if you know a friend who would enjoy it. This is real life business. Keep your chin up, keep moving forward. You got this. If you've gotten value from today's show, don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an episode. And if you are a repeat listener of the podcast, know that we greatly appreciate you at Tap the Potential. And to that end, I have a request. Please consider leaving us a review on whatever platform you're listening on. Our reviews help other entrepreneurs like you to find us. Be a part of our movement to help entrepreneurs take your life back from your business.